Zillow's Zestimate just got an upgrade. Watch Toole Time now to find out more. Welcome to Toole Time. I'm Tom Toole. She's Jess Lion.
Hello.
Super excited to be here, as usual. This week we got a couple different topics. I want to lead off with a King of Prussia-based network of addiction centers called the Recovery Centers of America. They just got their advertising suspended from Google, and they are complaining about how Google and Facebook control the internet. So, Jess, you read the article. What do you think about all this?
From what I read, coming from this article, it was that there are some pretty heavy restrictions put on smaller businesses when it comes to advertising on Facebook, Google, Instagram, things like that. But when I was looking a little deeper into it, it's pretty much the smaller businesses that might be putting out material, in my opinion, that are a little not controversial, but things that are a little touchy that you might not want all audiences to see if it pops up on Facebook. I know that the article mentioned like some adult content or some the one company that got their ads removed was an addiction center, things like that maybe not be appropriate for all audiences. So for the majority of small businesses, I feel like it's a pretty even playing field, and then there's that other small business who is a really niche market, and those might be restricted a little bit heavier.
Yeah, the article, I mean, they talk about how Google and Facebook kind of control the internet. Well, I don't know where they've been, but this has been this way for a while, right? Like, this is not any sort of news here. Certainly a little bit of a controversial topic, and these companies that engage in businesses that maybe have a business model where they're, like you said, adult content, I mean, they should have to play by different rules. There's kids on the internet all the time. The reality is 100 million people are going into Facebook a day, and Google is the number one search engine out there. So, of course, they're going to be able to control what people see to a certain extent. And you have to be mindful that it's not always 18 and older looking online. I mean, there's kids that get their parents' tablets, their iPhones, all that sort of stuff. It really depends on what you're selling. And the reality is, if you're in that sort of business, you probably need to know that you're going to be restricted because of the business that you're engaging in. And it's not like they're selling real estate.
No.
We advertise on Google and Facebook all the time. So I'm with you on this one. Thanks for the update that Google and Facebook control everything. I mean, this is like not that big of a deal here.
I think they were complaining a little bit about how there aren't really any other options for them. Like, I guess they can go to Twitter, or they can go to, I don't know, Yahoo, I guess. That's what the article was saying. And then maybe like Amazon will come along down the road and they could do something on there. But I think they're just saying that there weren't too many options for them to advertise online.
Business is not a fair game here. I mean, it's you either go out and win the business or you don't. I mean, so while this is an obstacle they're having, I mean, it's all about how you overcome the obstacle. So I think these guys are just crying and taking their ball home rather than actually doing something about it.
I think that we are a small business. I mean, for basically, and we love our Google and Facebook and all that kind of ads. So
I don't think there's any question there. I mean, we convert a lot from it. This show's going out on Facebook, right? So all these things we're doing, we're engaging in that, and that's just the way it is today. I mean, they're all businesses too, and I'm all pro business. I know you are. So
yeah, absolutely, we're on the same side of the fence here.
Good deal. So, topic number 2, Zillow's Zestimate just got upgraded. So, if you didn't know what was happening here, let me give some background on the story here. Zillow had been running a contest, which I think is genius because they got all these people to work for free for them. If you really think about it, the prize was $1 million. Zillow's a $1 billion company, so maybe not that big of a prize for them, but certainly a lot of money. And what they did was they ran this contest to see who could launch an improved accuracy on their Zestimate. Based on, and we knew about this way before the article came out, they just selected the winner. And there was a trio of guys from Morocco, from the U.S., and from Canada. They won the $1 million, so $333,000 a piece after taxes. Not that much money, right?
We should have done it.
Well, we could have, but I mean, again, we could, after taxes and everything else, it's not that big of a prize when you're splitting it 3 ways. So the problem was, on average, Zillow said their estimates were off by $10,000 of the actual price. I don't believe that number. I'll tell you why in a second. So do you think the new estimate's going to be more accurate? They're estimating a 13% improvement. Where are you at on this?
Well, first, I mean, I think that Zillow has actively been trying to up their game, really making the experience that they have, that their consumer is getting, much better. So just by making sure that the agents reach out to them in a timely manner and are really helping them, and then improving this Zestimate, I feel like their efforts are really great. But I feel like in the past, a lot of the clients that I've worked with, they get pretty upset when they're like, oh, the Zestimate was $830,000, and I'm like, but it's really closer to $7. So while I think it's a pretty good tool that you can use to keep your finger on what's going on in the market, if you want some hard numbers, then I think you should definitely speak to us.
Well, us or any local expert, right? So let me give you some stats here, because a lot of people don't go really deep on Zillow's website. I do it all the time for the reasons of helping clients and everything else. So if you look at the Philadelphia marketplace, they have stats of where the averages come in. What I can tell you definitively is we have sold homes for literally over $100,000 more than the estimate, and this is like a $300-something home. So they're off by a third there, right off the bat. Mm-hmm. And then there's some where the estimate's so high, and you have 80 people come through the house and no one makes an offer, well, then that's off too. So practically not an accurate number. Spencer Raskoff, the CEO, Greg Schwartz, the president, they'll tell you the same thing. It's a basis point. Here's where we're at in our marketplace. So they suggest their average margin of error is 4.3%. Then when you go deeper, only 85.8% of the homes are within 20% of the property's value. So our average sale price here is $333,000. You take 20% of that, you're looking at $66,000. So there's 15% that aren't even within that range. 74.1% are within 10% of the sale price. And then 54.9% are within 5% of the sale price. So I'm not really seeing how, when you get 55%, let's call it, we'll round up there, are within 5% and their margin of error is only 4.3%, these stats aren't making sense to me. Mm-hmm. So, and this is right from their website. What they also do is they rate each market from 1 to 4 stars based on accuracy. So a 1-star market, an example, St. Louis, they only have the tax records. They don't even have numbers based on anything else. New York City's rated a 2-star market, which is the most expensive real estate market in the country. That's kind of crazy to me. Philadelphia, LA, we're at 3 stars, as well as Chicago, some of the bigger metro markets. And the 4-star markets, a couple examples are Denver and Minneapolis. So when I see this here, I don't know how their number could get any worse.
Yeah.
I just don't. These algorithms never work. I mean, there's now these sites.
What's going into the algorithm? I've read in the article, it was just they're now taking into consideration commute time and things like that. I mean, but I feel like there are so many other factors that they can't even add into it.
Well, that's what they don't tell you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe it works better by 13%, but when you're only 5% of the listings or the homes that sell in our marketplace, are that 5% margin's only 55% of the sales. I mean, I don't know how it could get worse. All the more reason you got to get a professional in there. But I mean, is it going to work better? Sure, I'm sure they could improve it. I don't know how it could get worse. So that's kind of my take on this. But the smart thing they did, think about all the people that didn't get the prize. All those people they had working on this, that to me was the genius stroke. So I applaud them there, because they got a ton of people to work for free for them and only had to pay out $1 million, and they just picked the best one.
Smart move.
Smart move there.
All right, we're on the same side of the fence for that too.
There's a lot of agreeing going on here today, so very good stuff. Topic number 3, our motivational part here. So
this is my favorite part.
Well, I think this is the favorite part of this week's show for sure. And I know you're a big Gary V follower, Gary Vaynerchuk, Wine Library, VaynerMedia. You guys know who he is. If not, Google him and you will see tons of content.
He's the best.
Gary, you're getting tagged on this post, by the way, when it goes live. So I actually have this poster in my office, and I thought it was a really good quote, is legacy is greater than currency. So what does that mean to you?
So I started thinking about the concept of my legacy about a year ago. I was training for the half marathon, the Love Run, and I was listening to Jay-Z's newest album, 444, and he has a song on there. You know that album.
You're making me feel old. I didn't even know he had a new album, but maybe
Well,
it's because
awesome.
no one buys albums anymore.
I love it. No, on Tidal or like Spotify. Shout out. But he has a song in there called Legacy, and he's talking about how he is passing on what he has built to future generations, and pretty much that is what my objective is. What can I build that's going to have any worth and I can pass on to my children, to generations to come? Because I mean, the money that I make in this lifetime is not going to go with me. It's really how you impact society that's really going to have any value.
So what are you trying to pass on to your children? I mean, let's go a little deeper here. Like what like tell us more about what kind of legacy you're trying to create.
I'm still trying to work on that. I know you're going to ask me that question, but I'm still bouncing around some ideas in my head. So it's a secret.
Well, it's better to give a real answer than some nonsense. So
Yeah.
I'm good there. Yeah, you said something really interesting there. The money I make and versus legacy, and I mean, you can make as much money as you want. Once you're dead, you can't take it with you.
No.
I don't, I see that a lot of people, they drive for like the material thing or experiences. But when they say experiences, it's not like experience with their family. It's like going on some awesome vacation,
Right.
which is great. I'm not disputing any of that. When it comes to legacy, I look at what the most valuable asset is, and it's not currency, it's time. So what are you doing with your time? And I am with you here 100%. And I know my time is really valuable, spending it with my kids, my wife, the people that matter in my life, people on the team, friends, that sort of thing. So I want to, what they're going to say about you when you die is kind of your legacy. Mm-hmm. So they're going to say, well, he made a lot of money. Well, BFD. I don't think anyone really cares about that.
Nope.
It's what did you do with your time on this planet or on this earth, and was it worth remembering you for? So how it applies to us, and I've been to Gary V's Agent 2021 event. I mean, big follower of his. I know you listen to his podcast like every day, or the audio experience.
Every day.
So, what I see from that, and it's the same thing he kind of says, he gives away all his best stuff for free because he gets people to do business with him, but the people that's doing business with him are like Chase and Budweiser and triple A-list celebrities. It's not the masses. So he's really helping a lot of people kind of become entrepreneurs. And when I look at myself in the mirror and you get up and you do your affirmations and all that nonsense, are you really following through with the stuff you say? That's the legacy. And so...
What do you want your legacy to be?
So I think being a great dad would be one of them. Yeah. A loving husband for sure. Someone that, our team here is a little different than most, where it's not just like we're going to go sell a bunch of houses. Like that's cool. But like what happens after that? Like how are we helping people grow their careers and that sort of stuff? Because when you spend as much time together as the people do here, I mean, it's way different. You're not just working together, so it's
Absolutely
way past
not.
that.
Trying to build something.
Well, and build it for everyone else. I mean, that's what it's about.
Yep.
So I don't know if that's a good answer, but it's an answer.
It's the best answer. I feel like we're on the same page with that too.
Very agreeable today.
Wow. This is awesome.
Good stuff. So we will be back next week. Any parting shots here? Oh, one thing. We did that Carson Wentz story a couple weeks ago. Little development.
Yeah.
So
I was wrong. He admitted.
Bonus topic here.
Spilled the beans.
Well, I don't know if he admitted it, but I think he gave so we talk about being real and giving a real answer.
Yep.
So story came out on ESPN. I guess when this will air, it'll be about last week, where he basically came out and said, yeah, I was pressing. Mm-hmm. I could have been a better teammate. And then he wanted to investigate who made the comments, and he said, you know what? And this was the best thing I thought in the whole article. It doesn't matter. I need to look inward and become a better teammate and a better leader on the team. I thought that was really cool. To me, it actually, I don't know if it was true or not, but what it showed you is the guy really does care, and he's going to be there because everyone makes mistakes, but I think he said, all right, I'm moving forward and moving past it. So what do you think about that?
And another thing that Gary Vee says is, if you look at everything from it's all my fault, and that's the way to win every single time. I mean, Wentz obviously did that. He wants to improve himself. He's going to improve the team. I just think it was the right move, regardless if he said it or not.
And anything's got to be better than that horrible Super Bowl. So, I mean, you could watch the one play, the Philly special, and I got more excitement from the replay of that.
Rich watched it 3 times when he got home.
Then that Super Bowl was horrible. So, maybe we should hope that he does better and we get back there and beat the Patriots again.
Next year.
Cool. Well, I wanted to update that because I think that's relevant, and we certainly want to flush out all the stuff that we're talking about here. So
full circle with that one. That was cool.
Yeah, it was a good update. We'll be back next week, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for watching.